We use plural words every single day without even thinking about it. But what if I told you there's this hidden, incredibly complex puzzle that your brain solves every single time you say something like students or books? Yeah, today we're going to dive into the secret logic of plurals.
All right, so let's jump right in with a little test. It's a puzzle that's hiding in plain sight, inside two sentences that look pretty much identical. But, and this is the cool part, your brain instantly knows they're worlds apart.
Okay, so take a look at these two sentences. On one hand, you have the students gathered in the hall, and on the other, the students read a book. Now, the subject, the students, is literally the exact same in both, and yet, your brain just understood that phrase in two totally different ways. How does it do that?
So, can you actually put your finger on what that difference is? I mean, it's super subtle, right? But your brain just does it, effortlessly, every single time. That is the core of the puzzle we're digging into today.
Well, it turns out linguists actually have a name, or rather two names, for what your brain just did automatically, and understanding these terms is basically the key to cracking this whole code.
So first up, we've got what's called the collective reading. This is what's happening in our first sentence when the students gathered. They acted as one. Like a single unit, a single group, all doing one thing together. That's the collective meaning.
And then, on the flip side, you've got the distributive reading. This is what's going on with the students read a book. See, the action of reading is, well, it's distributed among all the individuals. Each student is doing it on their own, not as one big hive mind.
And boom, that's the core distinction right there. Is it one group acting together, or a bunch of individuals acting separately? Your brain makes that call in a split second. And believe it or not, this exact ambiguity is one of the huge challenges for anyone trying to, say, teach a computer how to really understand human language.
So that begs the question, right? How do the experts actually break this down? How do they formally analyze this thing our brains do so naturally? Well, they've come up with some pretty sophisticated toolkits to map out all this hidden meaning.
I mean, think about it. How do you take something that's just intuitive and turn it into a concrete, formal system of logic? It's a huge task. But linguists and logicians have come up with a few really fascinating ways to tackle it. So there are a few really clever approaches. Some linguists, for example, they literally invent entirely new systems of logic from the ground up, kind of like a special math designed just to handle groups. Others think of words more like chameleons, words that can shift their meaning or their job depending on the context they're in. It just goes to show there's more than one way to map out the secret rules of our language. But here's the thing. Even with all these powerful, logical toolkits, real everyday language is, well, it's messy, right? It's always throwing these curveballs that pure logic can really struggle to hit. Let's just take one simple, incredibly common word that causes an absolute world of trouble for these systems. That word, many.
Yeah, just think about it for a second. If I say, many students came to the party, what does that actually mean? Is it 10, 100? Is it many compared to what I expected? Or many for the size of my apartment? The meaning is almost completely tied to a context that's nowhere in the sentence itself. It's slippery.
And this is where the research today gets really, really cool. Experts are still grappling with these deep puzzles. How do we program a system to handle vague words like many or few? How do we resolve all this ambiguity on the fly? And these are not just, academic thought experiments. This is the real frontier of understanding intelligence, both human and artificial. Okay, so all this logic, all these challenges, it all builds to what is, for me, the most mind-blowing takeaway of all. The absolute, sheer computational power that is humming away inside your head right now. Seriously, all of this complexity, every theory, every framework we've touched on, it all comes from this one simple idea: more than one. And your brain? It just juggles all of those potential meanings constantly, instantly, without breaking a sweat. And here is the really amazing part. That whole collective versus distributive thing, figuring out what many means based on context, all of that incredibly complex logic we just walked through, that is something your brain does automatically, instantly, without you even being aware of it. It is an absolutely astonishing feat of unconscious problem solving that happens every second of every day. And that really leaves us with one final big thought. We've just peeled back the curtain on one of the hidden rulebooks your brain is using, just for plurals. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
What other secret, complex rules of language are you following perfectly every single day without having any idea they even exist?